there are 4 ways that we like to play games. And this was research done by Richard Bartel, who is a British researcher and professor. And in 1996, which in the world of games is a long time ago, but he found that there were 4 main ways people play games. One of them he called killer. I don't actually like the term, so I call it a dominator. The dominator is super strategic. They're no friends in card games. Like even if they're playing with their kids, they're still gonna crush their kids, right? Because there's a learning lesson. Yeah, sometimes they're not very fun. Yeah, but they're super strategic and they're gonna find the workaround ways. Like they'll read the directions, but then find the gray area to be able to win, right? Pros and cons with these folks. They can be really creative, they're gonna be effective, and they're gonna be efficient. Then there's achievers. Achievers, it's the joy of achieving all the accomplishments. They might want all the badges, all the trophies, have a trophy case to show off, their badges. This is the one that I connect with the most. So I shared that I have done an Ironman and I wear a Garmin watch and I want all the freaking badges on this darn thing.
Yeah, if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen.
That's exactly right. It doesn't count if it's not being tracked by some device. So the achievers want to check things off and get things done and collect all those things. There's an explorer. The explorer knows how to win, but it's not about winning. It's about going on the side quests, discovering something new, kind of pushing the buttons, seeing what happens if I push this red button. They're going to be super curious. And then the fourth is a socializer. They also know how to win, but they want to win together with other people. And it's about community and collaboration. So streaks may not initially motivate an explorer or a socializer. A dominator and achiever, absolutely. Because it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to win. I'm going to beat my best. And I love the idea of a streak. For an explorer or a socializer, you're going to want to think about, for explorer, what fun, creative thing could you do in which that streak would support? So instead of maybe doing the same thing every week, it might be doing something new every week to help you achieve that quest. So, for example, I, as an entrepreneur, have a different streak of doing one important thing every week to continue to build my business. And that allows me to move where I need to move for that particular week. So this week, Randy, I could be like meeting with you and having a conversation and sharing and marketing a little bit about what I do, getting the word out around gamification. And so having that broad streak of do one meaningful thing to help me build my business every week allows me to have the flexibility to explore. For a socializer, you may want to create a streak with somebody else. Do it together. It might be your significant other or a friend, and together you're streaking to create that consistency. So I'll give an example. I run with a friend. And so right now it's the holidays. It's a little hard to keep a streak. But, in the off season, let's say, we'll try to keep a streak together of meeting at least once or twice a week.
Yeah, and that makes it so much easier to get out because somebody's waiting for you. I benefit from that so much. So,
Yeah.
And do you think people overlap in those different quadrants, those 4 areas?
Absolutely. We do have a default preference of play. However, different environments will trigger one of these 4 game player types. So for example, actually I gave an example of a tactic I use for everything other than the dominator. I do have a tactic for the dominator. So I'm writing a book on how to gamify your goals. And it's going to be a choose your own adventure. You get to pick your preference of play and then follow that narrative and complete the activities throughout the book. And so I am quietly, although every time I share this, I'm no longer quiet, right? I'm quietly competing against James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits. His book is phenomenal, and I definitely recommend you get it, but I also want you to get mine. And so I'm studying him. I'm watching, what did he do to get his book out into the world and have it usually be the #1 purchased book in the new year? And how can I replicate that and maybe even beat him? So those dominators love to go after somebody and say, I'm going to get there before you or better than you. So absolutely, you can play the strengths of all 4 of these game player types depending on the environment that you're in. I don't always feel like I need to crush my competition like a Dominator, but there are certain things that fire it up.